Welcome back to the Believe in Badger Football podcast on the Believe Podcast Network, presented by betonline.ag. Once again, I'm Matt Perkins. Bernie, out sick today. So we have our number one call-up of all
Mini
time.
Bernie.
We've got Mini Bernie with Clint Cosgrove, our good friend from Rivals.com, national analyst, and probably best friend of the program that we have. So, Clint, thank you for taking a little bit of time to pinch hit.
Thank you for having me on, man. This is a dream come true. It's been a while, and I'm just excited to be here.
Well, you guys probably all know that Clint and I do a weekly recruiting TV show on YouTube for Badger Blitz. Make sure you're checking that out every week because we have a lot of fun over there breaking down some film. But before we get into talking big picture Badgers today with Clint, want to remind you guys that we are presented to you by betonline.ag. They continue to be the number one source for all of your online wagering needs. You name it, they've got it. NBA, NFL, college football, esports, golf. It's over there at betonline.ag. Head on over to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today. Use our promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts. Clint, we haven't had you on since Luke Fickell was hired. So, you are in the recruiting world. You talk to coaches as much as anyone out there. What are sort of your big picture thoughts here on how everything went down and how did Wisconsin fare, in getting Luke Fickell, in your opinion?
I think it went down, not in the perfect way, just, with, the whole Jimmy situation. But if you're going to go outside the program, you got to be excited. I mean, this is as big of a hire as they could have made if they're going to go outside the program. And Luke Fickell is a proven winner. He took a group of 5 school and made them into a national power. And you can say, okay, it was a one-hit wonder, but it wasn't. I mean, he developed this team into a playoff team. This is an AAC team. So not only can he recruit at a high clip, he can develop relationships. They can develop players. Look at the guys they have in the league. Desmond Ridder, Sauce Gardner, Alec Pierce. Those are 3 guys who couldn't exactly have gone everywhere in the country. And those are 3 guys making an impact year one in the NFL. I mean, Sauce Gardner, if it wasn't for Jalen Petrie, would probably run away with the defensive rookie of the year. I mean, the guy's been a stud lockdown corner from day one. Alec Pierce making plays, touchdown. I mean, these are the type of players that they brought to Cincinnati and made into stars. And then you look at what they did at Cincinnati. Once they did that, they leveled up. They started recruiting even higher. Everybody was going to poach Cincinnati's commits this year because they identified, evaluated, and landed guys early on who they wanted. And some of them are going to end up coming to Wisconsin.
Some of them have already declared for Wisconsin. They just flipped Jonas Duclona this past weekend. They've got a couple guys, Joshua Gregory coming to visit, Amari Snowden coming to visit. Like, they are definitely going for after a significant amount of these Cincinnati kids, and rightfully so. They already have the relationships with them. But speaking of the athletes that Luke Fickell and company were recruiting, how do you see that changing and evolving in this new administration? Is it going to be, are we going to see a different type of athlete in general recruited to Madison as opposed to what we've seen over the past basically 30 years?
Yeah, I think it'll be a little different in the sense that this isn't going to be old school ground and pound football. But I think they're going to stick to the Wisconsin principles of, hard hat, lunch pail kids that love football. They're going to be a physical football team. So that blueprint isn't going to change. It's just going to look a little different on the field. Instead of being in 21 personnel, 12 personnel, you're going to see a lot more 11 personnel. They're going to, spread the defenses horizontally, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to run the football. You think of Brett Bielema, for instance, down in Illinois, always known as a power run game guy. What do they do this year? They run the heck out of the football, but they spread the defenses up, and Chase Brown did big things, So I think we're going to see more of that style of recruit, but I don't think you're going to really see much, like, to the naked eye who's not doing a deep dive. You're not going to see a big difference. The one thing that I think you will see is a higher caliber of recruit being sought after.
Definitely. I think we saw that in the opening press conference with McIntosh, that the money that they are going to be putting in to, building up, getting those recruits, getting investing in the place you need to invest in to get that caliber of recruit, because there are facilities areas you need to upgrade. There are NIL packages that you absolutely have to upgrade along those lines. So, another question, though, I think that's been on, sort of the mind of a lot of Badgers is obviously the quarterback position, because Graham Mertz in the portal, Chase Wolf is graduating, and it's basically Miles Burkett is the only scholarship quarterback on the roster. Now, they've kept the commitment from Cole LaCrue, the quarterback out of Colorado, for this coming class, as we sort of shift into talking about the 2023 class that, as early as signing day approaches just next week. I think there's a lot of interesting caliber prospects coming into Wisconsin. LaCrue, the quarterback, is obviously the big name because it's quarterback, right? Everyone is interested in talking about quarterbacks. They're clearly going after them in the portal, though, too. Nick Evers and Brennan Armstrong are the two guys that have been, really seemingly targeted by by Fickell and the staff. How do you feel? Do you think that they will be able to bring in two portal quarterbacks? Do you think they'll just try to get one? And then the very interesting difference between Evers and Brennan Armstrong is that Armstrong is a one-year guy, right? He's one and done. He's got 1 year of eligibility left. Evers has was a four-star kid out of Flower Mound, Texas. How do you, if you're Fickell, are you trying to get maybe the higher floor of Armstrong, or are you interested in probably the higher ceiling of Evers?
So to me, year one, and it's not like you got to go and win a championship year one, but people want you to, and they're going to complain if you don't, no matter what. When you're looking at building a program long term, yes, it would be nice to have a guy like Evers, who was highly rated, but he hasn't proven anything at the college level yet. And quarterback is one of the positions where a guy can be a stud in high school and then all of a sudden do nothing in college, whether it's, schematic fit, whether it's coaching, whether it's they had maxed their potential, whatever it may be. Now, I have full confidence that Nick Evers can be a stud. But if I'm thinking year one, I want to come in and I want to show that I am carrying this tradition of Wisconsin football. I'm going for a Brennan Armstrong. And, the reason being is, well, one, he is a perfect fit in Longo's offense. He can run the ball. He can pass the ball. Like, people don't realize, and I think we talked about this on the Badger Blitz podcast, he only threw for like 20 something or 2,000 something yards this year, with a high interception to touchdown ratio. They really pounded the crap out of him running the ball, it looks like. Whereas the year before, he threw it like a 65% clip, threw for over 4,000 yards, ran for another 300 yards. And then you talk about just being a smart guy. He's at Virginia, very similar academically strong school as Wisconsin. I think this is a guy who you bring in, and not only does he give you the ability to do what you want in your offense day one, he's proven it at the highest level, and he is a great leader and can set a great example for those below him when you're trying to develop a program. Evers, yes. Would I take him? Absolutely. But there's going to be another Evers in the portal next year. There's going to be another great quarterback next year. And so this is going to be a commonplace where you're going to have an opportunity at great quarterbacks. And if you can show year one that all of a sudden Brennan Armstrong comes in, has great success, and Wisconsin all of a sudden is a place where, wow, I want to go play quarterback there. I think not only do you help yourself year one, not only do you establish great leadership in the position and make the room stronger, you show that under this new offense, Wisconsin isn't just for running backs and offensive linemen. This is a place where quarterbacks want to go too. And, that's why I side with him. And then I think you either take another, kind of sleeper hit scholarship quarterback or a preferred walk on with a guarantee that if he's in the 2 deep, he gets a scholarship as soon as possible. And there is a guy out there who I would probably target if I were them. And his dad happens to be the GM of the Colts, who also played at Wisconsin back in the day, and that's Chris Ballard. His son Cole Ballard is at Westfield High School. He was a baseball guy. He throws 90 plus miles per hour. Decided he wanted to focus on football. Was an absolute stud this year. Nobody knows about him outside of a couple schools. Like Kansas was in to see him the other day. I think he's a kid that we watch out for, and he would be a great addition along with LaCrue. And then if you can get a Brennan Armstrong. So not only do you get a couple young guys with upside, you get the Brennan Armstrong who can come in and play right away. And then you also have Miles Burkett there, and you set yourself up for some future success.
Yeah, from the outside, Burkett seems to have already ascended a bit into the leadership role, as him and Wolf are the only scholarship quarterbacks on the roster right now, and Wolf is an outgoing senior. So he knows he's basically going to be at least the guy, at least in this first part of the transition period. And I think what we've seen from him, obviously, like, we have to read into social media, blah 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 blah, like usual disclaimers. I think that it's an interesting opportunity for him because he has a lot of the skill set that you would think would function well in this offense, right? He has the ability to not necessarily scramble for yards, but scramble to look to throw, right? Which is, I think, that really key in the way that Longo is going to use the quarterback movement. And so I think Burkett could do some really interesting things. I'm excited to see his development here. But we talked about some of the guys coming in this class, and I want to know who your favorite of the commits are that they have at the moment. I will actually go first. I'm kind of springing this on you. They just got this kid.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to look at the list.
So they just got this kid out of Seattle. Clint, Tucker Ashcraft, this tight end. Like, I see him in A, like, I was just like, okay, that's Garrett Graham. Like, it's done. It's Garrett Graham. Like, don't have to think about it twice. Old school Y, like, I love this kid's ability. I thought it was really strange that he was signed to Colorado under the Carl Durrell era, and then Prime didn't honor his scholarship. And you watch his film for 2 minutes. This is a kid you want on your team, dude. Like, he blocks hard. He is a excellent pass catcher, super smooth athlete, 6'5", 230.
He can run,
dude. Like, I'm like, so what is going on? Like, I love this kid. Clint, you and I have talked about him on Badger Blitz. You have any extra thoughts that you want to add into my favorite?
I can see why he's your favorite. I mean, he's already a guy who can, a lot of time these hybrids who can flex it out, they're like 210 pounds in high school. And then you hope that they can put on the weight and put their hand in the dirt and be an on the line guy. This is a kid who has the athleticism to flex out and already has the size. He puts on 15 pounds. All of a sudden he's 250. He's mashing inside. And, you talk about Phil Longo's offense, they're an 11 personnel team. So you need that tight end who can do a little bit of both. And so I get why he's your favorite. He looks like he's coached up well. I saw, just seeing his releases when he's coming off with his hand in the dirt, I really liked. I liked his ability to get into people and, fight with his hands and get inside. Just a lot to like about him. And I can understand why you'd be fired up, especially when tight ends, they're in need right now at Wisconsin. So I think that's a big one. And I can't disagree with you.
I know your guy is Justin Taylor. I know your guy is Justin Taylor. And so I'll ask you about Justin too, because if you just listen to me and Bernie, you probably haven't heard Clint and I talk about Justin over on Badger Blitz. What do you love about Justin Taylor?
He's just a baller. The kid, like, I mean, he's not the biggest in the world. He runs well, but he's not a 4'3" kid. He's a kid that if you told him to go and play O-line and I want you to go and just beat the crap out of a defensive tackle, Justin would be like, let's do it, coach. And he'd go and line up and he would give it his all. And I wouldn't even say that he would give a 300-pound defensive lineman a battle. And that's what I love about him. This kid is a warrior. He is a football player. There is nothing that he can't do. He can catch the ball. He can return the ball. He can hit you. He can cover like a corner. He can play safety. You know, he might not be as physically gifted as a Braden Moore, but I think of these two in the secondary together, I'm like, good Lord. You know, Justin Taylor to me is just, and of all these guys, Justin never wavered. Every single time that something happened with the Wisconsin search, you know, and I was really kind of worried when Jimmy left that he'd finally be like, oh, that's it. He was like, I'm surprised, but it's all in. I'm Wisconsin with me. He's been a vocal advocate of the team. He's continued to recruit others. He just wants to be a Badger. And we've seen what kids who want to be a Badger have done. And he's probably a little more talented than a lot of other kids that have wanted to be a Badger and had success in the past. So Justin is a guy, he will find a way to make a difference. I don't care if it's in the locker room. I don't care if it's recruiting. I don't care if it's in the return game. I don't care if he ends up being a running back. You know, that's another thing with Justin. He could be a running back. So when you're looking at, you know, running back stuff, he's got that ability. He can line up at receiver. He's got that ability. He can play corner. He can play nickel. He can play safety. And like I said, if you wanted to go and ask him to snap the ball and be center and put his face into a defensive tackle, guess what? He's not going to tell you no. He's going to go out and do it. So that's why I like Justin. You made me pick him. I was kind of between him and Braden. You know, I love Tyler Janzi as well. I think Nate White is probably underrated.
He can really catch the ball out of the backfield.
Durant, he's got a chance, 6'6". Who, Justin?
Well, Justin and Nate.
Oh, yeah, Nate. Yeah. Yeah, very similar skill set, actually. But yeah, I mean, I just the class is kind of thin right now, and you'd expect that because of what happened. But the additions they're getting are good, and just be on the lookout. There's going to be a couple big additions before signing day.
Yeah, there definitely are. I know Badger fans are looking forward to signing day. Spinning it forward, we actually had a couple questions about like the 2024 class. It's been 2025. People are wondering, A, what happened to in-state linemen? What happened to all of them? I'm telling you, they're coming in the 2024 and 2025 classes. That 2025 offensive line class.
Oh, and Strebig
and Griffin Rousseau and Charlie Hoytnick. Yep. Like, there are serious dudes. And not a lineman, but a linebacker, Cooper Catalano in 25. Like, all four of those in-state dudes are like high level Power 5 players. And that's just like who we know about off the top of our heads, like without doing real deep dives. But the other question that was posed to us, or who are high priority 24s? To me, the number one guy you got to get on board is Corey Smith in state from Catholic Memorial. I think he is the key player because you could make an argument he is the best all-purpose back in the nation for the 2024 class, because he can literally do it all. We haven't seen an in-state player, in-state running back probably this good since Gordon. And I think in high school, Corey Smith is more productive.
Michael Bennett before him.
But yeah, I mean, this guy is incredible. Besides Smith, what other 24s would you have your eye on? That would be real high priority targets.
You're talking about in-state kids?
Yeah, we'll stick in-state for the time being.
Yeah, I mean, Donovan Harbor, obviously. He's very highly recruited, interior offensive lineman. At least an interior build. He probably has the skill set to play on the edge if needed, especially in the type of offense I think we're going to see moving forward. Who's the running back from Franklin? I'm going blank on his name. I can't understand why. Good Lord. What is his name?
Terrence.
Come on. Help me out here. Help me out, Perko.
It's
Shelton.
Terrence Shelton.
Yeah. So Terrence Shelton, I mean, he's a guy who very, you wouldn't guess how thick and how fast he is unless you've seen him in person. He is thick. He is fast. He loves football. His legs just always churning. So he's another guy. Derek Jensen, I think he's just scratching the surface. When he was young, I had hoped for a lot from him. And then he kind of, just kind of stayed in the middle. And then I really feel like he made major strides this year. And he has those physical gifts that you can't teach. So you talk about a big offensive lineman in that Wisconsin mold. Robert Booker, I think, is going to be an absolute stud from Wanakee. Kid's a player. He is long. He is athletic. He can play defensive end if he couldn't play tight end. Soft hands, still growing into his frame. He's only like 215 pounds. This class this year in 23 was down, whereas the 2024 class, they got some dudes in it. You got who else? Sam
Nathan
Pilot.
Roy.
Nathan Roy. Nathan Roy is really blown up. He's a stud. Who else? Jace Gilbert is a guy that I like. There's a plethora of players in the state that already have offers. There's already 13 with, I think, Division I offers. Not all of them are Power 5 guys right now. I'd imagine at least 9, 10, at least 8 should be Power 5 guys. And, if you want to make a real, bang as a first-year staff, and there is some talent in state, I think you go after a lot of those guys, especially the guys who project well, who might not be like Derek Jensen, like, he might not be the most polished player right now, but he has every tool to be that guy. You got to take a guy like that in the state, So obviously your big targets are Donovan Arbor, Corey Smith. You get those, everybody's happy. But if you want to get back to building a border around the state, you're taking more than just that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, we're going to have to wrap it up there today. Clint, cannot thank you enough.
We're not going to watch Bernie's film.
No, well, he's not here. We have to watch that. We have to watch Hammer film with the Hammer. We will be doing that this offseason. I promise it's coming. I just have a lot of things that I have on my plate, and I don't have time to cut up Bernie's film because I'm cutting up too much film for you and me to break down over on Badger Blitz TV. A little bit more promotion right there. So we are going to.
Well, dude, you are a dude when it comes to production. I can tell you that. Teach me your ways. You're my Jedi master. You're my Yoda.
More patience you need.
Patience you need.
That is a very good Yoda, sir. I did not expect that. Well done. Well done.
Yeah, been a big Star Wars fan since I was a kid. You would have never guessed it. I haven't had time to watch it in the last 8 years, but it's coming sometime.
Well, maybe we can get together, have a few beers, and watch some Star Wars and break down some films. Sounds like a damn good night to me. So, okay, well, we're gonna wrap it up there. Yeah, we got to wrap it up there because I have a doctor's appointment to go to because I have to fix my back. So we're gonna wrap it up, and you can always check out me and Clint over on Badger Blitz TV on YouTube, part of Rivals.com network. Bernie and I will be back next week with a little Christmas special and a little Christmas Hanukkah special, I should say, and. Until next time.
I was gonna say, come on.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little Christmas Kwanzaa party, and it'll be a good time. So, Clint, we appreciate your time as always. And Clint can't say it, but I can. On Wisconsin.
In his words.